The Chagos Archipelago, located in the Indian Ocean, has a complex and often troubled history, particularly regarding its indigenous inhabitants, the Chagossians. The Chagos Islands were uninhabited until the late 18th century, when the French began to colonize the region. The islands were primarily used for coconut plantations, and enslaved Africans were brought in to work there. After the British took control of the islands following the Napoleonic Wars in 1814, the population continued to include these laborers and their descendants. The Chagossians, as the indigenous people came to be known, developed a distinct culture that combined African, French, and British influences. They lived mainly on Diego Garcia, the largest island, as well as on other islands in the archipelago. The history of the Chagossians took a dramatic turn in the 1960s, during the Cold War. In 1965, the United Kingdom detached the Chagos Archipelago from Mauritius to establish a military base on Diego Garcia, which was crucial for U.S. operations in the region. To facilitate the establishment of this base, the British government forcibly removed the Chagossian population between 1967 and 1973. They were relocated to Mauritius and Seychelles, often under dire conditions, with little support or compensation. Many were left without homes or livelihoods. In the decades following their displacement, Chagossians have fought for their right to return to their homeland. Various legal battles have taken place in British and international courts. But the UK government has consistently maintained that the islands are necessary for military purposes and has resisted resettlement efforts. In recent years, some progress has been made, with growing international attention to the plight of the Chagossians. The UK government has offered limited compensation, but many Chagossians and their descendants still seek the right to return to the islands. Today, the Chagos Archipelago remains a British overseas territory, and the military base on Diego Garcia, still operational. The Chagossian community continues to advocate for recognition of their rights and for the opportunity to return home, highlighting issues of colonialism, human rights, and self-determination. The history of the Chagossians is a poignant example of the impact of colonialism and geopolitical strategies on indigenous populations. Their struggle for justice and recognition continues to resonate in discussions about human rights and decolonization.